Welcome back to Good Morning Vail. One of the challenges here in the Valley with many of the employers is how to find the right people. And I've got sitting next to me right now Holly Johnson, who has a book out on how successful leaders hire and retain employees. Good morning.
Good morning.
And we were just talking about sometimes this challenge is not necessarily challenge, it's a mindset.
Correct. Well, yes, there is less of a labor force relative to need and demand right now. But one of the things when I was writing this book is that my publisher said, I want you to go out and find out what the barriers to profitability are for business owners and CEOs. That was the topic of my first book, Break Through Your Net Profit Barrier. And when I was talking to them, there was people out there who said they're all lazy and they don't want to work. And then there were other ones who, they said, yes, it's challenging, but if you go through a certain number of steps in a process and you hire a vision versus hiring for the job, you're going to find people that are more career path oriented than job oriented.
They always say, with a career, when you're interviewing, it's got to be a good fit, not just for the person that's applying for the job, but also the company with that certain individual. And so a lot of times people hire out of desperation. They got to fill the hole. They got to get someone in, and they'll just transition someone into a job without going through the right structured interview process. And then what they see is turnover.
Correct. And, the mindset shift is you always want to be hiring toward a career-minded person. And in my book, I say, even the grocery bagger, right?
Right.
If they're hired on a career path, there's a rotation schedule. It's one of the reasons why Trader Joe's is successful at retaining people, is they put everybody on a 2-hour rotation. And that gives people the opportunity to move around, gives them a variety of skills that makes them more marketable, and also teaches them the business of grocery retail. And same with, a restaurant. You may be hiring a wait person. Europe is really great at this because service people are on a career path, whether they're a server or a chef or whatever. And when you hire at a career path, you're hiring to the vision. So you get them to fall in love with your business and your company, and then they don't really care what they're going to do. And most people write job descriptions in the wrong direction. They write about the job description that doesn't sound very interesting, nor does the title sound very interesting. And then they put the job, they put the wage right up there. You've got to do a little bit of pre-qualifying.
Right.
But talk about who you are as a company, what you do every day in order to achieve your success, and then go into the character traits that you're looking for. I don't care if you're hiring for a VP or you're hiring for a service person. They've got to buy into your vision, and a lot of companies that I work with don't even have a vision. And
Right.
It's the thing that gets you up every day, and it's why nonprofits are successful at really kind of typically paying lower than normal wages, is because people are committed to the vision.
Yeah, I like what you said about Trader Joe's with offering those different perspectives as someone works through the different departments, and it gives them a clear, this is exactly what I want to do. And it also, as a company, it allows you a lot of flexibility to be able to move people around to help the business and be a little more productive in what you do.
Right. A lot of small business owners, they don't have enough flexibility like Trader Joe's to fill in the gaps to have people doing different things. And, you put a wait person on a bus roll or, in the back of the house, they're going to have a much different perspective of the challenges and vice versa. And I'm not saying that you necessarily need to do that, but hire on a career path and put that. We are looking for career-minded individuals
Right.
who want to learn the restaurant business, who want to learn the insurance business. And I've had 2 of my clients who just went through the job description, which is detailed in my book on how to write it. I, gave away a few free tips on that one, who ended up not even having to place the ad, that they found people because their whole mindset shifted and they started talking in a way of, this is a really great place to work. We're not just hiring for a job. And
Yeah.
I was at the LA Times Book Festival last weekend, and I was talking to a lot of college students, and I said, even though this book is written for business owners and CEOs, if you're looking for a job, there's nothing wrong with that. Sometimes we just need to pay the bills and not we're not on that career path right now, or help
Right.
our way through college. But when you are looking for a career path, make sure that you're looking for companies who hire to vision and character, because then you've got a fit.
What a nice paradigm shift that would be, instead of going out to try to recruit people, having them come to you for a change because they know that your business is one that they want to work for.
And to have the confidence to take the time to find the right person. I mean, there's a 3-step interview process. And part of that is getting out of the way after you, the owner, because most owners don't do that, just at least have an initial conversation with them and act like you care.
Right.
And then kind of get out of the way. And then once you come down to your top 2 candidates, send them out and have lunch with some of your team or all of your team, depending on how big or small you are,
Right.
and say, what's it really like to work here? It doesn't mean that you're not going to have turnover and that you're not going to have somebody who's a great interview that doesn't show up. I mean, I've been there, trust me. My best interview was my worst hire. Lesson learned. But I also didn't do the due diligence. And think about the cost of turnover. So spend a couple extra weeks finding the right people and just
Right.
plan accordingly.
Now, you touched on to kind of that mission and vision of the company that really contributes to the overall culture. How important is that culture to attaining the right person?
So in the list of the top 14 reasons why people left a company in 2023, if you're paying a competitive wage, money wasn't even in the top 5.
Wow.
Is feeling valued and appreciated. They've got to be part of the conversation, which is part of the hiring process. Retention begins at hiring. It doesn't begin after they get in the door. You've already lost them if you haven't hired to that. And to, one of the things in the character list, the top 10 character traits you're looking for, in the interview process, ask them to rank themselves on that. Because, and then go, okay, so when I call your references, kind of planting the seed that you're going to do this,
Right.
how would they rank you? And see what happens. Is it the deer in the headlights? And go,
Right.
and it's okay. We're not looking for perfection here. So you let people say humanness is okay, but integrity is really important to us.
Right.
And knowing that we're going to call your references, would you like to adjust how you rank yourselves? Some
Perfect.
people underrank, some people overrank, but you're looking for the happy medium, and also people who can kind of gauge on how they relate to other people. I mean, let's face it, retail, service, all that, you're front and center. You got to be able to deal with people who may challenge you a little bit, and how do you handle that?
Right. Now, Holly, one of the biggest questions some employers ask is, tell me about your biggest weakness and what's your opportunity? What do you look for in that question when someone answers it?
Well, I'm going to flip this a little bit. One of my favorite questions that I actually stole from my sister is, what makes you work hard? What motivates you to work hard? Implying that, yeah, you are going to work hard.
Right.
And then you understand that. So, I try to shy away from negative things, negative implications, like we have weaknesses. It's just like, where are your strengths and what would you like to improve? And that goes with kind of talking to your staff. If you're kind of looking about, like, let's say you wanted to be the #1 best place to work in Eagle County.
Right.
What does that look like? And go to your team and go, hey, what do we do? What do we do really well? And what
Right.
can we improve upon? And so you kind of set the stage of, you always want to start out with the positive and then ask for input on, what would you do differently? Or like in the first initial interview, start out, here's here's a little bit about our vision.
Yep.
And, how do you relate to that? And then knowing what our vision is and a little bit about the job or the position, what would you be doing every day in your role to help us achieve that vision? That becomes even more important when you start
Right.
moving up the, managerial
Because that'll start
level.
identifying those core values that are ingrained in that individual.
Right, and that also it encourages input. And, as the owner, CEO, you don't have to adapt everything, but take the feedback that you get and then explain why you are or aren't going to do something so that there's a dialogue going on. It's not just you making a decision and then everyone goes like, why did I even bother?
Right, right. Okay, we talked a lot about the book, the content of the book. Talk about your coaching a little bit and what you can offer to different companies.
Well, kind of back to the mindset thing.
Yeah.
we all need somebody to be accountable for. I mean, Tony Robbins, the coaching guru of the universe, has got a coach, right? And so, I work with business owners who, want to scale, want to get through the glass ceiling, or want to kind of mitigate this. And a lot of what we do is we start out, where are you at? Where do you want to be? And then, I've been a running coach for 18 years. And so I kind of put them on a training program. And there's a very logical process. And it's 1 hour a week on a working call. They get a homework assignment so that they make sure that they're staying focused on moving their business forward, not just the checklist. I mean, high achieving people love to check off all the little things, but the problem is that they spend more time checking off the little things. Not that they don't need to get done, but you got to always be moving the needle forward. What's the high impact task? What's the high income task?
Right.
And then what can you do? And start with the low hanging fruit. A lot of people, some people say, oh, start with the hard stuff at the beginning of the day. I was interviewing a gentleman who does sales for a roofing company, and he says, start with a small win and build up your confidence, and then go into the harder stuff.
Well, Holly, thank you so much for joining us today. Growing Solutions Coaching is what Holly's all about. Pick up her book, get some great ideas, great tips, and a good vision for hiring those right people that are going to make your company the best it can possibly be. Thank you, Holly, again for joining me.
My pleasure. Have a great day.
We'll be back soon with more Good Morning Vail.